Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I am making for Yo as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track from an act named Kessoku Band from Bocchi the Rock. And this track is titled Into the Light. So without further ado, we are going to listen through this track from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think, and just before I get into it, there will be lyrics for us to check through at the end, thanks to Yo for those as well. Let's go. This is a very new track for them, so I'm excited to hear through it. Phenomenal musicianship with the guitar lines and everything else. Just before we get too carried away with the rest of the bridge and sort of chorus sections, which I assume are going to happen next, the combination of that guitar, the bass work, the phenomenal fretmanship, moving all over those frets in that fretboard, man, it's wild. With the drums just grooving forward with lots of little intricacies with some ghost notes hits there. The vocals being nice and present and the mix comfortable within their range, and the guitars are just wonderful, dude. So much color. Oh, major lift. Oh. I see what they're doing there. Okay. That halfway chord there and that second half of each sort of like chorus run is like a parallel minor or something like that. It's unexpected. It kicks you in the chin a little bit. It's like, oh, pay attention. And you're like, whoa. And then it like resolves itself quickly for like a really kind of pleasurable sort of effect. Great use of octave chords. Fantastic use of dynamic range there. Just things just quietening down. Great shift after the huge hook. Nice. The range style-wise. And a further build with the tom focus. Do you understand how there's just no chill? Like, we have these constant kind of teasers that a new section is coming. We have no time to really pause before there's something else to pull us along, like a guitar part or drum part, or the vocals coming with a new line, or there's an unexpected chord progression or something like that, or just some other texture. Or we switch genres with like the offbeat drum beats in the first half of that little second verse part. It's just wild, man. There's so much cool stuff to appreciate. And filtering of the guitars. Fantastic head voice at that last run. What a truly special song. What a truly special song that was, for so many reasons. We're going to have a look through the lyrics and then we'll do the conclusion. So welcome to lyrics time. We've found Into the Light. We found the English lyrics. Thanks to you, Yo, again, for these translations. My hands shake with trepidation with a solo in 8 measures. Crashing through my inferiority complex, I flew into the light. This is beautiful, man. So this is about not giving in to your anxieties and just trying to be the best you can be and not allowing things to weigh you down and going towards the light. I run blindly from reality, the reality where my ideals are denied, to escape into fantasy on a deserted island, sitting on my knees, wiping away all my stubborn thoughts. I receive a premonition under the night of a song where I dive into the end of the light. Even if I don't comprehend, even if it's all garbled, the scale, this drive, I truly love the sound of it all. No matter what I do, I get flicked off. Through it all, I keep flicking my strings. Let's try reach to the stars even with our skill. Let's keep on playing for the rest of our days. Let's tie the present up, the future to even more surely. No matter where you are. This is beautiful. As a fellow musician, I can appreciate this. And this is the conclusion to my review of this song from the Bocchi the Rock anime from Kessoku Band, titled Into the Light. What I think this track is about, I think it's about a musician who is trying to find their peace in the world, a way of escaping all the people who tell them they'll never be good enough, that they'll never be able to aspire to anything, and then going past that, not just going into escapism, but going further beyond that, having stability, a reality within a band, playing gigs, making people happy, having fun, and living their dream. I think that's what this track is Into the Light about. It's about not allowing yourself to be weighed down and crippled by your own insecurities and anxieties. It's about moving forward so that you can make the most of the future. And I think that is a beautiful thing, and I'm incredibly happy to be reading about a story like this. As a musician who has, like an imposter syndrome, a lot of the time, I'm like, especially because I've been teaching music for 10 years, and I can relate to a lot of this, and I love it to pieces. I think that a lot of musicians need to hear this and watch this and believe in themselves too, and I hope that this inspires musicians to have more faith within themselves, to just know that as long as they make great music, have a band that they get along with and it's tight as hell, and as long as they can entertain people, they'll do fine. They'll definitely be able to do music, and it's wonderful. And I think that the story alongside the vocals there, for most of the track, the vocals, like the singing was fairly careful in the way it was implemented and constructed and performed. I really don't have any complaints about the way it was sung, because I think there was a lot of trepidation until that last chorus where we just went for it. And I think for that, from an emotional perspective, like the feeling of the performance there, you could tell that the person, as they were singing, was kind of in the frame of, do I really want this? Do I deserve this? Etc. And then towards the end of the piece, they were like, I do deserve this. And they just smashed forward. And it was incredible. It was tremendous. So I have a lot of love for that. I think they did an excellent job with that. The vocal technique, the head and chest voice, legato and tremolo parts, the vibrato parts, that was sensational. And we had backing vocals near the end of it and the outro part there, which were really warm and fuzzy on the sides and a great foil to the singer by themselves. I think that at the end, they had their band with them singing alongside them. And it's so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful, and I am feeling quite emotional about this. I think it really resonated with me, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And I'm really proud of this band for what they managed to accomplish, It's awesome, dude. It's a really great, inspirational little anime we got here, eh? I think that outside of the vocal performance, which was very believable, sincere, authentic, and the story made a lot of sense and they came together really well, the track at 4 minutes 20 had so much going on and there was absolutely no filler. We had a wide range of different implementations of the guitar, bass, maybe some sort of key parts there, some synth parts, the drums, bit of filtering of some of those elements there. It sounded like a band, but it was on steroids. There was so much variety to the rhythm guitars on the left with the interesting chord progressions they played, including the parallel majors and minors, but the lead guitars, they had little arpeggiated chord bits, some lead solo parts there, some interesting kind of bendy, flicky, slidey parts there, all sorts of virtuosic kind of shenanigans going on there, and a little bit of sort of bluesy, kind of jazzy sassiness and soulfulness as well. The drums were so on point, dude. The wide variety of different sort of grooves, percussive ideas and concepts implemented here was sensational. Really have absolutely no complaints about it whatsoever. It played to the intensity of the rest of the elements of the mix and never any more and never any less than it needed to. And I think that the percussion, they were pocketing on the kit, but they knew exactly how to play to keep things moving and intense and incredible. And they melded so well into the actual composition itself. It seemed like they were basically born to be together from square one. The bass guitar as well was fantastic because we didn't double track the rhythm guitar, so we had an openness and expanse with the bass tone that I wasn't initially comfortable with, I'm totally honest. It seemed like there was a lot of real estate there, but the bass player went all over the fretboard, had interesting modes and scales to play, and really complemented the song in the same way that the guitarist did. It was a great balance of various instruments within the mix. I just think any other sort of colorful stuff going on there with any other effects was just icing on the cake. And when you compare the intricacy of the various sort of like extended sort of like harmonies that we had there with the gritty kind of octave chords that we had, there were a bit of distortion there, but with the beauty of it all and how it glimmered with hope, I think it's absolutely tremendously appropriate for the story and the vocals. I think that there were various genres approached, like the half beat offsets and kind of like the verse parts. There was like a filtery kind of like middle eight section there, which was kind of classic rock, you know. There was just so much to appreciate and enjoy. And I think we went from like a point of feeling unsure of ourselves to the end, grabbing our future by the neck and going for the light. And it was altogether very well connected and very satisfying to listen to. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do so. I mean, finally, recording, mixing, and mastering was sensational. Absolutely no complaints whatever about the performance there. There was not a note out of place. And the studio production was tremendous. The vocals sounded so clear and present in the mix, whether they were the main ones in the center or the backups on the side. The guitars were panned with the lead on the right and the rhythms on the left, and they were leveled really well, and they each had different functionalities, which made it very interesting to listen to in a stereo field because they were doing different things. You kind of go backwards and forwards, etc., with the bass filling up the middle of the stereo field and adding a lot of depth and kind of oomph to that part of the frequency spectrum without being too much. And the drums were lovely in the way they were leveled and sort of pitched in the mix with great presence, but without being too much. There was a heaviness that I was expecting in the hook sections that didn't come, and as I heard more of the track, I understood why that was. I think it was because of a lack of double track in the rhythm guitars, but I think the reason they did this is simply not only because they wanted to have a more kind of like neutral tone to it, in the sense they didn't want to go too hard rock on it, but also because that's indicative of the band that maybe they have in the anime. Maybe they don't have, it's meant to be a live performance, so you're not going to have two rhythm guitar takes, because you've only got one person playing the rhythm guitar, right? So it makes sense from a live performance perspective. And I think that's a great little added detail, a little Easter egg there. And I mean, finally, it was nice and loud with our pumping, with limiting compression was done well, but there was also dynamic range to it. Things went quiet and they went loud, and there were changes in energy levels there, which were captured damn near flawlessly within the recording itself. So this is an incredibly positive review of this track by Kessoku Band from Bocce the Rock, titled the track's titled Into the Light. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. And stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Patrons video. Spiderhands out.